Hello students, welcome to Yayskool. I'm Harika, your educator, and I'll be teaching geography of class 9. And today we are going to discuss a topic called India's neighbors. So this is the third part of chapter 1. We have already discussed India, its size and location, and also India and world. And now today we are going to discuss the last topic of chapter 1, that is India's neighbors. Okay, so as usual, I'll be giving you a quick outline of what will be the outcome of today's learning. So the important points that we are going to learn today are: first thing, India's position in South Asia and states and union territories of India. And second thing, India's neighbors. Third thing, classification of states based on countries with which they share the border. And the fourth important point is classification of U.T.S based on the coast along which they lie, like whether they are on eastern coast or whether they are on western coast. So before starting today's lesson, once again I would just request you to take a map of India, open your atlas and open India map. So just remember this thing whenever you are listening to geography class. Just make sure that you are having an atlas with you, because geography is basically about learning of the places, right? What is on earth and all these things. So having an atlas will make it very easy for you, na? So just take an atlas and just sit whenever you are sitting for geography class, and that will be very, very helpful to you, and it also make you learning easy. So just take a map and we will start today's discussion. Okay, just remember that how essential it is to make ice out of water. See, if there is no water, you can't make ice out of it, right? So just as it is like, if you don't have an atlas, it will be not very easy to understand. So having an atlas would be a very good thing for you to learn geography well. So coming to the first important point, that is India's position in South Asia. So we have already discussed this thing in India and world, but once again I'll just give a very quick review of that. So you will just remember again. So I will just read out all these things. Where does it lie? It is centrally located in Asia continent and it connects East and West Asia. So this connection, what does it mean? That does mean that it is having borders with East Asian countries and as well as West Asian countries. And it is southwards extension of Asia. Towards the south of India, we have ocean. So if there are any neighbors, they must be island neighbors, right? So what are the island neighbors? That also we'll learn today. And it is having a strategic location in Asian continent. So all these points are not new for us because we have already discussed in the previous video. So now let us quickly move to the another important aspect of first point, that is states and UTs. So here I'll show you a map. So in the previous video we have taken entire Indian subcontinent map. Why? Because there our main objective is to understand how ancient people used to connect with people of other countries, right? So we have taken the pre-independence map or entire Indian subcontinent map, but today we are just learning what is India and what are the states and UTs and what are neighbors. So we have taken here the new Indian map. Okay, so here you can see India is centrally located, so it is sharing borders with East Asian countries as well as West Asian countries, and towards south we have island countries. See here we have Sri Lanka and US. Okay. Now coming to states and UTs. So now you tell me how many states are there in India and how many UTs? So we have 28 states as well as 8 UTs. So before 2019, how many states were there? We had 29 and now we have 28. One gone missing, right? How did this happen? So I'll tell you how it happened. So what happens actually is we can reorganize states. That does mean we can, divide them or we can join them. We have this provision under the constitution. And what happened is in the year 2019, Jammu and Kashmir was changed into union territory. So what happened? One state got removed from the list of states. And now this Jammu and Kashmir was again divided into two parts, where Jammu and Kashmir is a one union territory and Ladakh is another union territory. Earlier, both these together were constituted under the state called Jammu and Kashmir, but now we have two separate union territories, that is Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. So this is why now we are having 28 states. No state gone missed, but we have just reorganized. So one state which has been removed from the states list is now having two union territory parts. Okay, just understand that. So in the year 2019, Jammu and Kashmir reorganization bill was passed and it divided Jammu and Kashmir state into Jammu and Kashmir union territory and Ladakh union territory. So this is why now we are having 28 states and 8 union territories. So now I hope you have opened your map, as well as I'm also showing you a map here. So I'll just through all the states. First we will start states, then we will go with union territories. So first we have from top Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar. Here on top we have Sikkim, then Jharkhand, Gujarat, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Odisha, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. All these are states. Now let us move to union territories. So as we have already discussed, we are now having Jammu and Kashmir as union territory and Ladakh as another union territory. And then we have Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu. It is one union territory. We have Lakshadweep Islands. This is another union territory. We have Puducherry. This is also another union territory. And we have Andaman and Nicobar Islands. And here we have Delhi NCT. And then we have Chandigarh. So all these are union territory. Now I will take you to a very interesting part, that is sister states. So all the northeastern states together known as sister states. So let us now understand what are all these 7 states. So we have Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Meghalaya, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, and Tripura. So all these 7 are together known as sister states. So this is about the states and union territories. Now I'll just give you a quick list of what are the states and their capitals. So this is not actually part of your NCERT chapter, but I thought it will be very helpful for you. So you can just pause the video and take a quick note of these things, or you can just slow down and just you can learn what are all these things. So Andhra Pradesh, its capital is Amaravati. And one more thing here I will tell you, that is, like it is now having 3 capitals, and regarding this Amaravati, there is some issue going on. But at present they are having 3 capitals. Then Arunachal Pradesh, Itanagar, Assam, Dispur, Bihar, Patna, Chhattisgarh, Raipur, Gujarat, Gandhinagar, Goa, Panaji, Haryana, Chandigarh, Himachal Pradesh, Shimla, Jharkhand, Ranchi, Karnataka, Bangalore, Kerala, Thiruvananthapuram, Madhya Pradesh, Bhopal, Manipur, Imphal, Meghalaya, Shillong, Mizoram, Aizawl, Maharashtra, Mumbai, Nagaland, Kohima, Odisha, Bhubaneswar, Punjab, Chandigarh, Rajasthan, Jaipur, Sikkim, Gangtok, Tamil Nadu, Chennai, Telangana, Hyderabad, Tripura, Agartala, Uttar Pradesh, Lucknow, Uttarakhand, Dehradun, West Bengal, Kolkata. So all these are the states and their capitals. Okay. Now let us just go through the list of union territories and their capitals. So first we have Andaman Nicobar Islands. Its capital is Port Blair. Then we have Chandigarh, Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu. Its capital is Daman. Then we have Government of NCT of Delhi, and its capital is Delhi. And we have Jammu and Kashmir, and capital is Srinagar. It is a summer capital, and Jammu it is a winter capital. And then we have Ladakh, Leh. Then we have Lakshadweep. Its capital is Kavarati. And then we have Puducherry. Its capital is Puducherry. So this is about the states and union territories. So now I'll just ask you a question. You have been paying attention to the lesson, right? Have you observed that Haryana and Punjab are sharing the same capital? Did you get any doubt like why they are having the same capital? Because no other state is having like no other two states are having the same capital, right? So this is basically because earlier Punjab and Haryana they were both together, like both were together as a single state, but later Haryana was carved out of Punjab, so they are still now sharing the same capital, same capital city. So that is why they are having same capital. So Haryana and Punjab they both have Chandigarh as their capital. So now coming to the second important point of today's discussion, that is India's neighbors. So this is going to be very important because the topic is mainly focused on this thing, right? So in this map, if you are focusing, you can see this is western part, right? This is western part of the country, that is northwest, and here we have northern part, and then we have east, and then towards south we have here island countries. So towards the northwest we are having two nations that are neighbors. That does mean that we are sharing our border with them. See, generally if you are at one particular place, right? Whom do you call as neighbors? Either the person who is, like lying exactly beside your house or in front of your house or back to your house. But if someone is there like 2 or 3 lanes away from you, do you call them neighbors? No, you don't call them neighbors, right? So exactly same here. So when we are saying that we are having neighboring countries, that does mean that immediate countries that which we share border with, right? So only we are sharing border with Pakistan and Afghanistan in northwest state, northwest side, and we are having China, and Tibet is integral part of China. So both, and then we are having Nepal and Bhutan towards the north, and we are having Myanmar and Bangladesh towards east, and towards south we are only having water, right? So we don't share borders with any of them, but there are island neighbors to us. So we are having Sri Lanka and Maldives as island neighbors. So here one more important thing that you need to understand is when there is a small gap between two water bodies, or like two water bodies are connected with a small gap, then that gap is known as strait. And if you see in this map, you can look here. So here we are having a strait, right? There is very narrow gap between these two water bodies, like between Bay of Bengal and Arabian Sea. We have this very little narrow gap. So this gap is nothing but strait. And the name of this particular strait is Park Strait. So India is separated by Park Strait from Sri Lanka. So Sri Lanka and India are separated by this Park Strait. So this is important point that you need to remember, and also Gulf of and Maldives. If you are observing the location, it is located towards the south of the Lakshadweep Islands. So these are the neighboring countries of India. So here in the map you can see we have Pakistan and Afghanistan towards northwest, and east we have China and Nepal and Bhutan. Sorry, towards north we are having China, Nepal and Bhutan, and towards east we are having Myanmar and Bangladesh. And here south you can see Sri Lanka and Maldives. So these are the neighboring countries. And coming to classification of states, how are we going to classify? We are just grouping them according to the countries with which they share the border. Okay, so first one, the countries that which share border with Pakistan. So what are those? I'm sorry, the states that which share the border with Pakistan. What are those? Gujarat, Rajasthan, Punjab, and Jammu and Kashmir. Jammu and Kashmir is UT. Okay, and then sharing border with China. And what are those? Ladakh, it is again a union territory, and Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh. So these share their borders with China. Then states that are sharing border with Myanmar. Those are Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, and Mizoram. And then states sharing border with Bangladesh, West Bengal, Assam, Tripura, Meghalaya, and Mizoram. And then let us just look at states which are having no international border, as well as they do not lie on coast, like they are completely centric in the India. What are they? Telangana, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, and Haryana. So these are about the classification of states. And now classification of UTs. How we are going to group them here? We are just going to group them like whether they are on the eastern coast or on the western coast, like where they are lying. So if you are say on western coast, we have Dadra and Nagar Haveli, Daman and Diu, and also Lakshadweep Islands, and also Puducherry. And on eastern coast, we have Andaman Nicobar Islands and Puducherry. So here again, you have, if you are observing carefully, again you can get a doubt. Why Puducherry is mentioned in these two categories? It is on western coast, it is on eastern coast. Why? Because there are certain areas of Puducherry that lie towards the eastern coast as well as towards the western coast. So all these together constitute Puducherry. They are like scattered here and there. That is why I did just mention it on both the eastern coast as well as western coast. So this is about the classification of union territories. So now here we have the UTs that are towards eastern and western coast. Now I'll ask you a question. So if you are carefully observing since from the beginning till now, you did get a like you would get this point like where the UTs are there, what are they, and whether they are in water bodies or they are connected with countries in the land. So all this you have got an idea. Now you just tell me like what are the missing UTs here and where they are. So right. So what are all those we did just miss? Just see here. Do we have Jammu and Kashmir UT here? No. Ladakh? No. Chandigarh? No, we don't have here. And government of NCT of Delhi? No, we don't have here. Why? Because they are all in the land region, in the mainland region. They are not towards the any coast. Okay. So these are the UTs. So with this, we have completed the chapter 1, and I'll just take you through all these points. So what all we have learned today? So first thing we have learned that India is located centrally in Asia. This is already something that we have learned in the previous class, right? It connects Eastern and Western Asia parts and all these things. And second thing, we have 28 states and 8 UTs. Why? In 2019, Jammu and Kashmir reorganization did happen and now it is a UT. And coming to the neighboring countries, on northwest we have Pakistan and Afghanistan, and north we have China, Nepal and Bhutan, and east we have Bangladesh, Myanmar, and south we are having Maldives and Sri Lanka. Out of these, which are the island neighbors? Right. Maldives and Sri Lanka are island neighbors. And coming to classification of states and UTs, we have just seen how we did classify them, like based on the countries with which they with which they share the border, as well as coming to UTs, we have just grouped them based on which coast they lie, whether they lie on eastern coast or western coast. Okay, and this brings us to end of today's discussion and as well as end of first chapter. Okay, so just go through all these three videos, and these three videos constitute one chapter, and just go through them, just revise them, and that makes you completely understand chapter 1. So today I'll be signing off, and again I'll meet you in the next video where we'll start a new chapter, our second chapter. Until then, stay safe and take care of yourself, and just keep learning with Yayskool, and bye.